Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. I'm Mike Briggs, your host, and our show is Real Estate and Home Improvement. We've been talking to guests all week long about how to improve the value of your house, how to keep the value of your house. Who do you trust when you have to hire a plumber or a roofer or things like that? My favorite part of the show, however, is when we bring realtors on the show and they show us houses they have for sale. Now, we've got a crazy real estate market out there. Is it time to buy? Is it a time to sell? Our house is too high. Is interest rates too high, too low? We've asked an expert to come on the show and help us figure all that out. Welcome, Brian Burry. Doc Burry, I call him.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brian. Now, you're with NorthStar.
NorthStar Properties, yes.
Who's the boss over there?
Connie Pritchard, she's the owner broker and actually my daughter.
Your daughter, Connie Pritchard. Yeah, we know her. She's a super person.
Yes, she is.
I want to ask you about this crazy market. What's going on? Is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? I want to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But let's go to my favorite part first. You have some houses for sale.
Yes, we do.
And I think we could start with this one right here.
Okay, that's on Everglade. That's near Chestnut and Shepherd. Great 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. It's got a pool and your own private pirate clubhouse.
Here's the pool.
It's almost a half an acre. The side yard is almost a separate yard in itself that you could put in an ADU if you wanted, an assistant dwelling unit.
You say it's almost half an acre?
Almost half an acre, about a 2,000 square foot home. They're asking $599,900 for it, and it is so nice. Very comfortable family home. Lots of entertainment areas.
That seems pretty reasonable in this market.
It is.
$599?
It is.
See things going for $700,000-800,000?
True. He's just remarried, and they were going to downsize, and so that's why they're selling.
Okay, there's a pool, and in the background you see the little pirate house? Is
That's
that
right. That's a little pirate clubhouse he built by hand. It's really cute, and it has a lot of entertaining areas from patios to awnings to, again, this beautiful side yard. I call it Park Miranda. My friend Ken Miranda is the owner and seller.
Park Miranda. And look at that. Is this the side yard here?
That is. Isn't that huge?
Yeah, you could really put a whole nother thing there.
We just had a wedding for him there.
Oh, you got married at his place?
Right there.
And there's the front of the house. Is that a tile roof?
Yes, tiled roof. Really just a nice home. Formal dining room, separate living room, beautiful den downstairs that could be a 4th bedroom or a den or an office. And the master is up in this particular one. The other bedrooms are down.
Okay, those tile roofs seem to last forever.
They're great. It does have solar. It's a power purchase agreement type solar, and it's very reasonable. His true up is like 28 to 140 a year.
Now, by the way, here's your phone number.
Yes.
It's okay to give it out.
Absolutely.
Who answers that, by the way?
That comes directly to me. Anyone calls me, they can get advice, consultation, and help.
559-824-2008, 2008. I would say don't buy the biggest purchase of your life from someone who does not answer their own phone, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you care about what they want, not just selling your own listing. We try, obviously, to sell ours, but we want to find out what do they need, right?
What do they need, right? Now, here's another just gorgeous house.
This is called Castle Rock Ranch out in Sanger near Ashland and McCall.
Mm-hmm.
It's on 5 acres. It's almost 4,000 square feet. This house was engineered and take 5 years to build. It's just a significant, magnificent home. Lots of brick throughout. The house has equestrian areas from huge overhead stables that could be totally enclosed into a large barn. But it's got a huge, long driveway all by itself. It's just very private, serene, and the sunsets on the west over Red Bank River are so beautiful.
Now, you say Ashland and past McCall?
Yes, Ashland, just east of McCall, and this house is asking $899,900, and it's almost 4,000 square feet. So per square foot for 5 acres, a historic, beautiful home, this is something to consider, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, they call it Sanger, but it's kind of straight out from Clovis. You go to
Oh,
Ashland
yes.
and you
Right
just
there.
pass Clovis East out there, but it's Sanger schools, I think.
Sanger schools, which are
Which
excellent
are great.
schools.
Oh, yeah. They're great.
We
yeah.
both love Clovis and Sanger schools a lot. We love all the schools, but they're 2 excellent ones.
Now, tell us again, how many acres?
This is 5 acres. It's almost 4,000 square feet. It has a full downstairs bedroom that could be a mother-in-law's quarters with an adjacent bathroom. It even has a baking bread room off the kitchen. It's just huge. It's just amazing inside.
Tell us what we're seeing here. Is this overhead view?
That's the overhead view. You're seeing the house in the middle, and it has a road that goes around the other side of it. So you only have a neighbor on the east side and a neighbor on the north side quite distance away each.
And someone could have horses and a little farming thing, farming.
Horses. They
Gen-
actually had chickens and pigs. So you can have a variety of things out there.
You could be a gentleman farmer out
Gentleman farmer, and a really neat house. It's got some slate and brick from other buildings throughout the county. It was just amazing.
there. And you're just not that far from everything.
No, very close to everything.
Yeah,
You just jump up to McCall to Herndon, and you're over there at Fowler and all the restaurants, grocery stores, and everything.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Doc, I know the answers to all these questions, but why do they call you Doc?
Well, I was an Army medic, Special Forces medic. My first war was in Vietnam in 1969. And then I was attached down to the Mekong Delta to a unit called the 9th Infantry Division. They were short of medics, they were decimated. And I spent about 400 missions, almost 7 months, all 3 to 5 missions a day by helicopter. And then I got blown up and I did 3.5 months in 4 different hospitals and survived. So every August 17th, people say, why do you celebrate? I said, I lived.
Hey, but how, they let you go back after that?
No, actually, I had to go back to Fort Bragg. That's where Special Forces were, and spent my last 5 months there. When I was on convalescent leave, I met a police officer. I became a police officer when I got out in Santa Ana. I came up to Fresno in 1994 when they were expanding. When you first got elected, I came up here, probably because of him, right?
Yep.
But anyway, got to see it grow a lot. Retired in 11. They brought me back for a year and a half and totally retired in 2015. Still do real estate, though, with my daughter, my wife, and her husband.
That's great.
My daughter's husband, that makes the 4 of us, the 2 couples.
Now, you came up, Jerry Dyer was there. He later became chief and mayor.
Yes, he was a sergeant when I first got there. He became chief. I was able to create the Citizens on Patrol volunteer program. We had 126 volunteers doing like $3,600 worth of work every month, and it got really good support from him.
Now, what about the acting chief? Can you tell us about her? We have not heard of her. A lot of us have not heard of her.
Mindy Casto, formerly Mindy Medina, was actually a partner of mine for about a year in Northeast. She's a good worker, a very capable officer. She's worked every single part of the department. She became a deputy chief, and unfortunately, when this chief resigned, they had to have an interim chief, and that's how she became chief. I would like to see her stay. I think she's very competent. It'd be refreshing to have a woman there, but definitely she's got her head screwed on tight. Was a good officer in the field with me.
I, of course, was on the city council, and I was there during that period that you arrived. And nowadays, I try not to give too many opinions, but I think it's great if we'd have a woman police chief.
I think so.
A great example for young girls in the community, all women in the community.
You check off the things. She's Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
She's married. She has a wonderful husband who's actually a sergeant in the department.
Wow.
They've been married many years. Very stable. I know her children. She just is a dynamic woman that's got a lot of good thinking and her head screwed on tight. And to me, all those balance out to be a real good candidate.
Yeah. She does check a lot of boxes, and some of us are actually looking for a new presidential candidate. Maybe she might fit that.
Who knows? Who knows?
Brian, thanks for your service, by the way. I stopped you in the middle of your service. You kept going.
Yes, I did. I stayed in the military in the reserves until '82. Went back in 1996. I was 49 years old.
Wow.
Who would know at age 54 I'd gotten 13 months for 9/11. Then in 2004, 2006, I went to Iraq on some police military missions, and in 2008 to Afghanistan. I was 60 years old on my last trip. My daughter and my wife sat me down and said, Dad, Brian, you've done enough. Don't chance it anymore. So that was it.
So you're Vietnam, the early years.
Yes.
Iraq, Afghanistan, amazing.
Yep. And I actually went to the Ukraine for 30 days to teach combat lifesaver course to 13 former Soviet nation bloc countries that didn't have medics to prepare them for when they went over to the sandbox.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for what you did.
Oh.
Thanks for continuing to serve our
Thank
community.
you.
By the way, what's the medal?
That's a Purple Heart. I got 2 of those. The second one, I was in the hospital 3.5 months for 4 different hospitals, a few operations. Still have a chunk of metal in my back as a souvenir that they didn't want to take for fear they cut nerves. But I'm grateful to have served the country in my military, police work, under you in department. It's just really an honor to live here.
Yeah. And can you believe you could have Brian Burry, Doc Burry is your realtor, your agent, helping you find a house or sell a house?
Or invest.
Yep.
We do a variety of things. We have 2 men that started in 2009. Today they have 19 homes. They have positive cash flow. They've paid off 8 of them. So we try to teach how to build what they call a real estate portfolio. So we can help you list, we can help you sell, or invest.
Yeah. I've heard this said, and tell me if this is true. The only way a regular old guy who goes to work and has a day job can build wealth is through real estate?
Yes. If you're not born rich, the only way you can get rich is through real estate. I married a girl. I bought 2 duplexes from her mom and dad. She had 5. They had 50 properties. He retired at 53 years old in 1974, $30,000 cash flow a month in 74.
A month
So
in
to me, buying property and growing. You buy, hold, exchange. You buy, hold, exchange. So you're taking all your tax-free dollars and expanding, and down the road when you retire, you start selling them off, pay taxes.
Yeah, maybe you know some about this. So if they're selling, somebody's lucky enough to buy an investment property, they go to sell it, they don't need to take the money and pay the taxes.
No.
If you go into another property,
Let's say they bought
tax-free.
That's correct. Let's say they bought a house for $350,000. It grew to $500,000. They decided to buy two $500,000 houses, split the equity, put it directly into that. So that way, the government says you're providing affordable housing. Let's give you an incentive. So now that after another 3 to 5 years, they sell those two and buy four. Well, at the end of 20 years, it's not unusual to have 8 or 10 homes, is
Right.
it? Because all that tax-free money kept buying those properties. So if you only had one property for 20 years, or at the end of 20 years you had 8 properties, what do you think you have more equity with the 8 properties? So it makes sense.
So it's not just buying property and flipping them and stuff. It's knowing what you do when you sell them to
Yes.
avoid the taxes.
Yes.
If you want to do this, you need an expert helping you, Brian Burry.
Be honored to.
If somebody's out there right now, and I know we're overtime, I'm getting the signal, they're thinking of selling their house. Now, I know a few people like this. They were going to sell their house, but COVID came, they didn't want to sell. Interest rates went up, they didn't want to sell. Here they are 3, 4 years later, they have no idea how much their house is worth.
We can give them a good value. We can show them what their equity is. We can even also show how to buy down interest rates when they move so they can kind of settle down. So hopefully in the next few years, if they come back down, they can refinance, right?
Yeah.
So we'll help them in each step of the way. We never twist arms, but we give great advice.
You got to get somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay, last question. Young kids. I bought my first home when I was about 30. And by the way, interest rates were 12% and my payment was $500 a month.
I know.
We thought, we really didn't know how we were going to make
No.
that payment.
It's amazing though when you did it.
What about people who want to just start in this, buying a house, their first home? Can you help
There's
them with
still
that?
some great first-time buyer programs out there. There's actually some grants that probably cover 90% of people. And a first-time buyer has not had a house for 3 years. So that if you had a house 3 years ago, you can still buy as a first-time buyer. But we can help you. There's quite a few government programs, both in California and locally, for grants, meaning you don't have to pay back if you
I
want
like
to
the
live
word
there.
grant
We
better.
like grants a lot.
Yeah.
So we can show how to reduce interest rates, make the housing more affordable. But that's your American dream. When you retire, if you've got a paid-off home, wouldn't it be a little easier to live without a payment?
Yeah. It sounds like a young person, maybe they're not totally ready yet, but they need to come talk to you
Yes.
to get ready and maybe help them get a grant, first-time buyer program, first investment, whatever it is. By the way, VA.
VA is excellent. VA has no limit anymore. If you could qualify for $1 million house, then you could get a loan because they guarantee 25% of the loan to the lender. VA is wonderful. With first-time buyers, remember, 30% of the homes are now a dual home. So in other words, they have dual generations. A lot of parents say, I'll help you buy the house if you let me have my own bedroom and
Yeah.
bathroom. It works wonderfully. So there's a lot of houses that are second-generation type homes.
Yeah, but VA, can they get in for zero down?
Zero down, we can have the closing costs paid. There's still buy-downs even for VA loans.
Wow.
The seller has to pay the buy-down. It could be 3% of their price, so that could be negotiated. But worth doing. Every veteran needs to get a home.
Yeah, yeah. They should not be renting, no matter what. Yeah.
No, they should own a home.
And by the way, rentals go up, whatever, 10% a year. Houses don't go up at all. So.
No.
Brian Burry, last thoughts? Any last thing we
Well,
skipped?
I think Mike presents an opportunity for the community here to present what we have to help people. We have 2 great listings on Everglade, $599, over on Ashland for $899. If we can help you, call us because you will love them. And I just want to thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank
Doc
you, sir.
Burry. We'll be back with more real estate and home improvement right after this.